so glad you could make our time to join us on today's episode of Tax Matters. My name is Olumuyiwa Matuloko. How's your week been and how is business going? The month of November 2013 is here, and that means that December is very close and 2014 is close at hand. We wish you all the best in your business and personal lives. The Federal Inland Revenue Service continues to make giant strides in fulfillment of its mandate of providing the much-needed revenue for the development of Nigeria now and in the near future. In this regard, the service continues to sharpen its skills, to improve on its strategies, to improve on its processes towards having a nimble service that is strong enough to face the task at hand. You will recall that a few episodes ago, we brought you a tale of two cities, talking about the regional operation management meetings or the field operations group of the FRS held one in Kaduna for the North Central region on July 4th and in Abuja for the Western region on September 27, 2013. Last week, the train moved to the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, where two regions came together to hold their own regional operational management meeting, talking about the Northeast region and the Federal Capital Territory region of the FRS. The regional operational management meetings are typically used to take stock, to look at the collection performance of the service up to the time of holding that meeting, as well as the collection performance of the hosting region or regions. This was no different. In his second outing since taking over as the coordinating director in charge of the field operations group, Mr. Ajayi presented the collection performance of the FRS in the period January to September 2013.
I'm highly delighted to welcome you all to this joint Federal Capital Territory and Northeast Region Field Operation Group operational meeting. This is the fifth in the series of meetings and second to the last for the year 2013. As at the end of September 2013, looking at our performance and what we have done so far, our achievement profile has indicated that we have achieved 106% of FRS non-oil targets. We are, however, at 78% collection performance of oil revenue target. The executive chairman has challenged us to collect an average of 640.6 billion on a monthly basis. In precise terms, revenue collection as at September 2013 stand as follows. Oil revenue, the annual target is 3.6 trillion, which is broken down to 300 billion on a monthly basis. Our cumulative target for January to September, 2.7 trillion. And at the end of September, we've just collected 2.114 trillion, which is about 78%. And outstanding balance for collection, that is what we are expected to collect, is 1.485 trillion.
A further examination of the performance record of the FRS indicates that in the period January to September 2013, the Federal Capital Territory region scored 65%, while the Northeast scored 57%. The government business tax offices in the Northeast, however, did very well, scoring 72%. For example, the Gombe State Government Business Tax Office scored 82%, while that of Bauchi State scored 74%. In the Federal Capital Territory, the Gariki Micro and Small Taxpayers Office scored 82%, the best in the Federal Capital Territory. The Individual and Enterprises Income Tax Department, in charge of collecting personal income tax, are also doing very well, collecting taxes from Abuja residents. Central Area IEITO scored 108%, the Maitama office scored 106%, while the Asokoro office scored 103%. All the IEITOs, Individual and Enterprise Income Tax Department offices, cumulatively scored 79%. Alhaji Kabiru Mashi Acting Executive Chairman of the FRS used the occasion to commend staff and management of the service for a job well done and to appeal for harder work.
While I commend you for all your hard work so far, which has led to the impressive overall collection to date, I want to strongly urge you to double your efforts in the remaining period of the year to ensure that we meet our targets. As management, we will continue to provide an enabling environment for you to work and provide the necessary tools and incentives to enable you to give your best. We should also note the existing gaps so we can identify workable strategies and action plans that can be implemented to cover these gaps. We all know there are existing challenges with the revenue needs of the Federation, and the FRS is expected to provide required revenue to show up the revenue profile of the Federation. We cannot, therefore, afford to fail in this regard, and I will be relying on you to raise the required revenue. This meeting, therefore, provides a forum and platform to start thinking of more creative ways to raise revenue and also how to improve our current processes and operations, especially in the FCT and Northeast region, which has been most affected by the external challenges we are facing in revenue collection.
The Northeast and Federal Capital Territory Regional Operation Management meetings afforded heads of department and coordinating directors the opportunity to present their own scorecard. Later in an interview, Alhaji Kabiru Mashi shed light on efforts being made to shore up revenue as well as collaborative efforts with other stakeholders for the achievement of that purpose.
We have been working with various agencies of government like Customs Service, where you cannot import without TIN. We have liaised with banks. Now, one of the requirements for opening a bank account is that you should have a TIN, tax identification number. Once you have that number, you're in our system. And we have expanded the base by registering so many taxpayers. And that is one of the ways of bringing more taxpayers. As you are aware, you cannot do government contract without tax clearance certificate. And I'm happy MDAs, that is ministries, department, agencies, are cooperating with Inland Revenue fully on this requirement. It's an offense to give contracts without genuine tax clearance certificate, because there are fake tax clearance certificates. And if we find out that you have a fake TCC, you stand to be prosecuted, because they have prosecuted so many people with fake TCC. We are working with Bureau for Public Procurement, who are fully supporting FRS and seeing that this requirement for tax clearance certificate is strictly adhered by would-be contractors.
The acting executive chairman also spoke about the collection performance and the outlook for the rest of the year 2013.
For the first 9 months, we have exceeded our target on non-oil. I think we were to collect 330 trillion. I think we have collected 397 trillion for the 9 months. But for oil, we have not exceeded the target because there are some factors beyond us. But all the same, that's why we are brainstorming now for the remaining 2.5 months to see what we can do to bring in more revenue.
Oga don come, tax man na you. Sit down. How long you thought say you go take bring the tax clearance certificate for me?
Oga, once you give me the money, the tax clearance certificate go ready now.
Now?
Yes, Oga.
Oya, wait, make I bring the money.
Wait. Agent for Federal Inland Revenue Service. This one a Wururu person. Come for here. Guy, forget all these Wururu people. Go any Federal Inland Revenue Service office where they near you. Go collect the original tax clearance certificate. To know the original tax clearance certificate, the tax certificate must get FIRS watermark. It go get signature on top of the FIRS seal, and the name of the tax office where they on top of the certificate must they correct. No print, no give, no even collect fake tax clearance certificate. FIRS don't want say anybody we then catch with fake tax clearance certificate, now jail straight.
For more information, visit www.firs.gov.ng or any FIRS office close to you. FIRS, it pays to pay your tax.
Welcome back. We are still on to Tax Matters, and it's time for our guest interview segments. On the guest interview segment today, we have Mr. Faniyi, the Director in charge of the Government Business Tax Office Department at the FIRS. The Government Business Tax Office Department is one of the newest departments of the Field Operations Group. It has offices in all the 36 states of Nigeria and the Federal Capital Territory. And basically what it does is to coordinate the collection, the remittance, if you like, of taxes deducted at source by ministries, departments and agencies of government, as well as local governments. Mr. Faniyi himself will talk about what his department does. Mr. Faniyi, you're welcome to Tax Matters.
Thank you very much.
Sir.
Thank you.
Now, what exactly does the Government Business Tax Department do within the general functions of the FIRS as a tax collecting authority?
Thank you for the question. Some few years back, FIRS embarked on a program of reforms. And a major aspect of the reforms was the need to segment taxpayers into their different groups for better attention, specialized focus, so that we can have a better take of the whole at the end of the day. We recollect, we had then, precisely year 2003, we started with the Light Tax Office. Light Tax Office to say big cases, all the shells of this world, the Guinnesses, the Nigeria breweries, you don't treat them the same way you will treat that portfolio company downtown. So there might be the need to have specialized attention peculiar to each group. So we embarked on that, and we have seen the benefit of it to the extent that even within Light Tax, we now have oil and gas separate from non-oil. When we saw that that was successful, we went to medium tax office again, and so on and so forth. So continuing further in that process, in the wisdom of management, there was the need to pull ministries, departments, and government agencies too. You know, the reason is that these are really not taxpayers. Their characteristics are not like companies. Government doesn't pay tax. A ministry is not, you don't pay tax like a company. But the thing is that you can help us to recover tax from taxpayers who are doing business with you. So there was that enactment since that MDAs have to take taxes at source and remit to FIRS. They have been lumped together with the companies in the old classical tax administration. And then we felt, let us also segment this group apart. Let's give them the kind of focus that they need. Hence, the formation last year of the Government Business Tax Department. Simply put, it is whatever government does, the tax aspect of it, let us have a department that will be managing it. So that is the story of the emergence of the Government Business Tax Department. It's essentially for MDAs.
Talking about structure, this scenario that you have painted, this formation of the Government Business Tax Department, is it unique to Nigeria, or does it exist in other tax jurisdictions?
I'm very excited about that question. I'm very excited. I used to wonder too, when issues like this will come up to be explained to the public. I sat down at a point myself, and I knew that there was always this pace of us to be behind the advanced countries, at least by a step, at least. Always looking forward to them to lead us. This is the best practice, this is the way they do it, and therefore we want to emulate that. But in this issue of having a department for MDAs, sincerely, I don't know. I stand to be corrected. I have not seen any country, especially these advanced countries, that have anything like that. And I think we are blazing a trail, especially for developing countries like ours. For once, there may be something that they will also say, let's send people to Nigeria and see how these aspects work, because we want to also take it on. But the reason behind that is not far-fetched, some of them positive, some negative. The negative aspect is the fact that in these advanced countries, they are largely compliant. The average taxpayer knows that it is his own duty to file his returns at the end of a period, and the right amount of tax will be determined. They used to talk boastfully, and it is true, that there is something called tax gap. Gap means, of course, the difference between what you could have collected, all the collectible taxes, and what you actually collected. Many of them 5% or less. But I think in our own economies, in the developing world, it might just be the other way around. So they don't really need a concept of this withholding. Withholding is something strange to them in the developed world, to say, since we are not sure whether we will get you at the end of the day, whether you will file or not, you are doing business now, let's quickly pick something out of it, which may be more or less than the actual tax. So the withholding tax concept is a phenomenon that is largely peculiar to developing countries. That's why we said, MDAs, we can trust you. Withhold income tax, which we called withholding tax, and also the issue of VAT. Instead of paying it to the VAT to the contractor, also withhold it for us. You are our sister. It's government to government. Let's take it. It is appearing that it is only in Nigeria that a separate department is now created for that particular matter. Okay, thank you.
It's a homegrown solution.
It's a homegrown solution, which we have to credit ourselves for also developing something that is peculiar to us and that is working.
Okay. Kudos to the FRS. Talking about working, we'll get to that. But you did say at the beginning that government normally doesn't pay tax. That the concept of the GBTD is for you to use the MDAs, the ministries, departments and agents as collecting agents. Now, you also did say that these are your sisters and your brothers, that you trust them. Has it been that easy? What is the level of compliance? Have the ministries, the departments and the agencies of governments and the local governments, have they been living up to expectations prior to the setting up of the GBTD and since the commencement of activities?
All right, thank you for the question. I will answer that question in two ways. One is, if you compare the level of compliance with other taxpayers, sundries out there, say companies, say individuals, the level of compliance is by far, far better. Yes, in terms of MDAs compared to all the other individuals, our people here and there, out there, and even companies, the level of compliance is better. But if you ask me, have they been fully complying, or have we gotten the most compliance that we can get? I will also say no. There is still room for us to cover. But talking on the average, on a general level, we are the better for it. They are complying more. Those who are complying are more than those that are not complying. Yes.
But to break it down to brass tacks, what exactly do these ministries, departments and agencies collect on behalf of the FRS?
Thank you very much for that question too. Just like I said earlier, it is a withholding concept that brings about MDAs having to be remitting money to us, withhold. So it's essentially to withhold. And the only things that are being withheld for now that is what you are paying on behalf of that ultimate taxable person or vatable person, whichever way you want to call it, is withholding tax, that's on account of income, and VAT, value-added tax. That's what distinguishes them, one of the key distinguishing factors from companies and individuals. A company and some individuals, they will not only pay income tax, they will not only pay this VAT, they will pay education tax, they will pay, where applicable, capital gains tax, they will pay what we call information technology levy and some other forms of taxes. These are not applicable to MDAs since they are not taxpayers. Okay. The other two, they are even remitting. Okay, let me not say two. There's actually a third one, which is very easy for everybody to understand. Payee, payee of their staff. And you also realize that even that one is not their own tax. It is the staff there that they are also, it's another withholding concept. Yes. Either way you look at it. So all the three taxes that they are collecting, VAT, withholding, and payee, their deductions at source on behalf, that they are collecting on our behalf for us. Those are the three taxes that we deal with.
But value-added tax, talking about government not paying tax, we are told that value-added tax is paid by the consumer.
Good.
So in actual fact, what the ministry deducts as VAT is actually paid by the ministry. Am I right?
That's quite correct. That's quite correct. It is true. The government, the MDA, is the one that is bearing these VATs. So in that way, they're actually paying the tax. But you see, where it differs from the convention is that normally it is the contractor or whoever does business or where you buy something. Let me use a very simple example. When you go to that supermarket to buy, that supermarket is charging you and you will pay that VAT to the supermarket. And therefore, we call that supermarket the vatable person. In fact, in VAT terms, it is a taxable person. It doesn't mean that they are the one bearing it really, but they are the ones that will account for it. They are the ones that will be penalized if they don't do it. You see, the law doesn't The law doesn't make provision for me to now come after you. The one you that go there to buy. If our agent fails, if the vatable person fails to charge you, it is the vatable person that is under obligation and that can be penalized. So to that extent, they are not vatable persons. They bear VAT, really, I agree with you. But in the sense that it's now a reversal of role. Okay. That instead of giving it to the vatable person, just give it to us directly. Okay. That's how we can, in a way we say they are bearing VAT, but in a way they are not vatable persons. Thank you.
When they withholding tax, that money is the money of the contractor. Okay.
It is the money of the contractor.
Okay. On that note, we'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about performance.
Okay.
Don't go away.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, waiting be this.
The deduction now for withholding tax.
Withholding guinea. Look, if you not pay me my correct money today, hey, Munu get me half for.
But madam, should be your company paying income tax.
Yes, that one is enough load for me to carry. Why in I won't come and join them again?
You see, withholding tax now advance payment for income tax. So when you do some kind of job like contract, we go remove small from them when we won't pay you.
I don't go contract am up. No. I bet tell me another.
No. We must pay the money to FIRS within 30 days, and they will give us withholding tax credit note to take show say you don't pay part of your income tax in advance.
So
now to help make the money where you go pay at the end of the year small.
So this withholding tax something, it be like part payment of no.
Exactly, madam.
I beg you, give me my check.
Remember, come collect your credit note.
Withholding tax, now for we own good. FIRS, it pays to pay your tax.
There you are. As usual, time will not permit us to conclude this interview with Mr. Faniyi. That means that in no distant future, we'll bring you the concluding part of Mr. Faniyi's interview with us on tax matters. In the meantime, we thank you most sincerely for watching, and we ask you to keep a date with us on this same station, same day of the week, same time of the day next week. Bye for now.